Hey everyone, this is Coach Linda, and this is 100 Days of Purpose. I am actually driving home, so I'm not going to turn my camera on because I do not want to have to look at the camera and take my eyes off the road. But what I did want to talk to you today, what I did um, you can take a test to see if you have imposter syndrome, or you can take a test to see which type of imposter syndrome that you have. And again, the ones that I've come across, and I've been doing a little bit more research on this, is um, basically the perfectionist, right? You want everything to be perfect, and you feel like if it's not perfect, it will if it's not perfect, it will fall apart, or you'll be found out as a. I'm sorry, I got to stop this because this is he's taken away from my thought process. Hold on one second. Okay, so you feel like um, let me make sure it's still going. Okay, so you feel like everything has to be perfect, and if it's not perfect, then you are proving that you are an imposter, because obviously if you weren't an imposter, you would be able to make it perfect, right? And then there's the superman or superwoman syndrome, that is imposter syndrome. And basically what you do is you feel that you have to be the one to save the day, and you may be one way in front of a certain group of people, and then another way in front of a certain group of people. And because you have this split personality, or this dual um, characteristics, I should say, going on, because it's not really a split personality. Um, because you have these dual characteristics going on, where you feel that you're putting on a mask, and or you are not being true to who you are, um, that you will be found out, and that someone will make it their business to expose you. And so you have the perfectionist, where everything has to be perfect or you'll be found out as a fraud. Then you have the superman or the superwoman, and then there is what they call the expert. Okay, so you spend all of your time researching and finding out information, useful information that you can give to someone, but because you aren't able to put it together the way that you wanted to put it together, or present it the way that you want to present it, even though you're knowledgeable in that area, you feel that, compared to other people, your knowledge is not as great. Thus, you'll be exposed as a fraud or a failure, or someone that is not operating the way that they should be operating. And then you have, um, what's the other one? The genius, right? The individual. the individualist, the well, the individualist, let's go with that one. It's the soloist. It's the one, you know, remember what the 2 year olds, and I know it looks like I'm um searching for stuff. I'm not really searching for things. I'm just paying attention to the road and trying to focus on what I'm trying to tell you guys. But there's the individualist, right? And or the soloist. And they feel that they have to do everything on their own. And if they don't do it by themselves, it's kind of like the 2 year old that, you know, when they get up and they're 2 and 3, maybe even 4, everything is mine, right? Mine, mine, mine. I can do it. I can do it. And so, you know, you say, Johnny, put your shoes on, or Johnny, let's put your shoes on. And they grab and say, I can do it, right? Or mine, mine, mine. And they don't want to share. So you have that, the individualist, or you have the soloist that is always trying to do it on their own and they won't ask for help, even when they're struggling. And so you tend to feel that you will be found out as a fraud if you do ask for help, or you'll be considered a fraud because you had to ask for help. So you have the Superman, Superwoman, the perfectionist, the soloist, the expert, and then you have what they call the natural genius, which is someone who has God given abilities and talents that far exceed anyone else in that arena or in that area of service that they're giving. So let's say you're a painter and you have a natural ability to paint, and you take a course in painting or a course in color, or you know, a course in drawing, and you over excel, and you know, the rest of the teacher is always singing your praise about how wonderful things look and how great you've made things look, and you feel that it could be better. You feel that your talents aren't quite up to par. And so you're always downplaying yourself. And remember, imposter syndrome is your inability to be able to internalize your accomplishments, to be able to internalize that you've done a good job. You always think when you are an imposter, or you're dealing with this syndrome, I should say, you always feel like you could have done more, you could have done better. Um, you know, there's always something lacking. Other people can say that you're great. They can say, wow, look what you did, look what you accomplished. They can even point it out to you and show you how great it is, but you cannot internalize it, you cannot see it, you cannot appear to even try to see the good in what you've done. And so there are, and I will probably go back when I'm not driving, go back on this post and put in some websites that you can go to take some tests to see, because you may not have imposter syndrome as far as what you do, but maybe you are a writer. Maybe you are someone who writes for a living, right? And you have imposter syndrome in your writing. And Grammarly, an app that I use, they have one to kind of let you see through your writing if you have imposter syndrome and which type that you have. And so I'll put these up so you guys can look at them and really explore this. Because again, like I said yesterday, if you're going to get this, if you're going to overcome this, you've got to embrace it. You've got to acknowledge it and know that it exists and know why it exists, and then deal with it. right? You can't ignore it. You can't hope it goes away. You can't put yourself in the situation where you don't do anything at all. You've got to do something. And I shared yesterday how even I, doing the things that I do, sometimes have to tell myself that what I've done is good enough or what I'm doing is good enough. It's to the best of my ability. And I've got to understand that and know that there are people out there that want to hear what I have to say and want to hear it the way I package it. And so anyone can struggle with imposter syndrome. Anyone. And it only really hits those that are capable, right? It doesn't really hit those that know that they can't do something and know that they're not accomplishing something. When you are accomplishing something, you're achieving something, you're out there doing what it is that you do, and you're doing it well, that's when imposter syndrome will take its toll on you. And if you don't have a good grip on your core beliefs, if you're not sharing your feelings, if you are not willing to talk about it, to face it and confront it, then you will continue to struggle with it. What's done in the dark in this regard does not come out, right? So you've got to expose it. You've got to expose it and you've got to deal with it. And so hopefully this has been helpful. I didn't want to be long because I am driving, but I didn't want to let this day go by without doing my 90 day or my 100 days. I'm on day number 98. So I didn't want this to be this close and miss a day and have to extend it another day. So day number 98, we got 2 more days, 99 and 100 to go. And again, don't know what I'll be talking about tomorrow, but once I get to a place where I can sit down and look at my notes and see what I've been talking about over these 100 days, see if there's anything that needs to be revisited or something new that needs to be introduced, I will post when I'm going to come on. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to come on much earlier and we'll be able to really dive into it like we normally do. But I think we have exhausted this topic as far as 100 Days of Purpose goes. If you are struggling with imposter syndrome and it is a constant depressing thing that you're going through, you definitely want to talk to a therapist, right? You want to get someone that you trust, that you can talk to, that can give you techniques and help you dive into this and expose it for what it is and help you deal with it. If it is something that you are dealing with and it's only when I do this or it's only when I write or it's only, when I know that I have a big presentation coming up and I start to doubt myself, because remember, self-doubt is one of the symptoms of imposter syndrome. So listen to day one of this, which was, I believe, day number 96, and then listen to day number 97, because 96, day 96, I explain in great detail what imposter syndrome is. And day 97, I gave you some causes, some symptoms, some causes, and then I gave you some ways of dealing with it. But if you need to be held accountable and it's not a internal, uh, deep internal issue that you have, then yes, get a coach. Contact me, contact someone that you know, like, and trust, to help you over the hurdles and help you expose this and really give you the opportunity to alleviate yourself of this, right? Because that's what we have to do. Imposter syndrome is something that we impose on ourselves. It's not something that comes from outside sources, although outside sources can be a trigger to it. So you be blessed, be encouraged. Until next time, this is Coach Linda. This is 100 Days of Purpose. Remember, only those that can see the invisible can achieve the impossible. So I double dog dare you to be exactly who you were created, made, and designed to be, and to do it with a spirit of excellence, a spirit of willingness, a spirit of I know this is who I am. Because when you know this is who you are, it becomes easier to do it. It's not easy, but it becomes easier to do it. So, as I always say, I'm Coach Linda, and I am out.